What's up, guys? So a lot of you have asked me to do a nade tutorial slash nade guide. I gave it some thought. I'm not a person that uses nades a lot, but there are some nades that when I use them, they're very effective for me. So I thought, hey, I want to create a guide on some of the most effective nades that I know that will get you a lot of kills in comp. Now, I want to preface this. Not all these nades are like these crazy lineups or anything. A lot of them are ones that are pretty simple, so this guide's going to be for beginners, but there are going to be a few nades that some of the more experienced players might be able to benefit from as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So this nade's effective because when you throw it at the start of the round, a lot of people are still getting in their position. And the reason why it's deceptive is because a lot of times this nade's going to look like it's landing short, and then it bounces off a ledge and will do a bunch of damage and often kill people. This is the nade that I get the most kills on Old Temple by far. So it's pretty simple. As you're running off the start of the round, you just want to be able to run up this platform. You want to throw the nade about the time you hit this rope. Now, there isn't a direct lineup for this, but if you look where this V is, you want to use that as essentially your left and right lineup, and then you generally throw it up towards these clouds. So you're going to go like this. And if you notice, it bounces off the ledge and it'll do damage. This is a similar setup. You're just going to want to run forward like this, line it up with this part of the cloud. So as you're throwing, and it lands behind the pillar. Now there's one more nade that I use pretty frequently on this map that gets me kills. That's on A side. Now, most of the time I'll be throwing my nade on B, but sometimes if we're calling an A rush and there's already people nading middle, I'll throw this one because a lot of times people like to hold A site from 3 and 1. This will get the people in 3. So you go to this corner, you back up, and if you notice these little tree branch, you want to pretty much line it up with that. Just tap forward, jump, and throw. As you can see, it lands in 3 window. A lot of times where people are playing far back so that you can't see their head when they're pushing 1. So it's a nade that gets a lot of kills because a lot of times people don't expect it. Now last but not least is the nade that I get asked about the most. The reason I don't usually share with people is not because I'm trying to hoard my secrets or anything. It's generally because it requires good communication and teamwork on both the people who are playing B and the people who are playing A. Now, usually when I throw this nade, I have someone in 3 who's communicating with me, letting me know when people are under 3 window, and I have someone on B that's willing to defend me through the doors when I'm throwing the nade. By throwing this nade, you're actually putting yourself in a really disadvantageous position because you can get shot very easily from 10. However, when you work together, this is a nade that is easily my second most effective nade, and it's really beneficial because you can help out by stopping an A push from B site. And then even if it's a fake, you're still on B and you're able to help out on B. Well, so like I said, someone needs to be holding the doors, but it's a pretty simple lineup. You just kind of pretty much stand on this divot. You want to make sure that your crosshairs in between these two, as you can see, this little divot here, lined up with this, make sure it's on this line, and then you just run and jump. It will land right below 3 windows, and at the very worst, you're going to be doing a bunch of damage if people are under there. That's all the nades that I use on Old Temple a lot that get me a lot of kills. Let's move on to Checkpoint. So another map that I get a lot of nade kills on is Checkpoint. Now, a lot of the nades that I throw are pretty basic. A lot of people who are more experienced are going to know most of these nades. However, there's certain things that may be beneficial for experienced players when you talk about timing and placement of these nades. So oftentimes I'm holding B sites, so I have 2 nades that I generally get decent amounts of kills with on B. The first nade I'm going to show you is one that lands right outside 15. Now, this is a pretty beneficial nade off the start of the round, because generally people who are pushing B or even pushing A but just want to clear B will push through 15 in middle and then go towards A. So While it's mostly beneficial, I find that I get a lot of kills at the start of the round. You actually can use it throughout the entire round, especially if you know that they're rotating to B or something like that. You pretty much just want to get right here, make sure that your crosshair is aligned with this, and then just put a little bit higher, run, jump. Nade will bounce into 15. Now that was actually a little bit farther. You could maybe move your crosshair a little bit up, but that will get people right as they're crossing out. This is easily where I get the most kills in this. This one's very similar in terms of where you're positioning, but you can actually use this antenna as a reference point to kind of have your height set, or just move your crosshair over to the left a little bit. This is going to get people that are pushing into B. You can stop them before they get there, or you can actually stop them before they get 15, or if you know that they're rotating, it could be a good nade for that as well. Like I said, antenna, run, jump. It's going to be landing essentially. Now, one of the main and probably only nades I use on A on the defensive side is one that lands in 4. Now, this is extremely helpful because 4 is one of the main points that people push through this map, and it's a nade that generally people will not see coming. A lot of nades people can dodge. This is one of those ones, but they generally can. It's a small corridor and they won't see it. So this one can be kind of hard to line up. You won't always get it. Sometimes if you go a little bit too far forward, it's going to miss the hole, but it's one that you just have to take the risk. You just want to get in this corner here, and depending on your graphics settings, you should be able to see this cloud cluster of 3 clouds. Now, these 2 on the left are kind of faint, but you actually want to line up on this 3rd one. Now, on most nades that I've shown, you want to like hold W, jump and throw, but in this situation, you just want to tap W, jump and throw. As you can see, that bounces off that little lip, and it bounces back towards the pillar. Lands right in the middle of the corridor, and you're going to get a lot of kills with it, especially if you know that they're coming in. Now, I have a few nades that I use on offense on checkpoint that get me a decent amount of kills. There's 2 on A and then 1 on B. The 2 on A are really similar, so you need to pay attention to the differences, but they land in completely different areas. So the first nade actually lands in the pillar right inside A. Now this is an awesome nade because at the start of the round, a lot of times people like to push 2. You'll be able to catch them then. You can actually use this nade at pretty much any point in the round because people often use pillar as a way to defend the site. This is pretty simple. You line it up here just kind of generally on the edge of this cement block. You want to get your crosshair in between the pole of this railing and the edge of this building, right in the middle. And then you want to bring it straight up to this little cluster of clouds here. And with this one, you just tap W, jump and throw. As you can see, it bounces right off the wall. It lands right by pillar. So you're going to get a lot of kills. This second nade lands right at the bottom of 1. Now this is a really handy nade because a lot of times when people are moving to A at the start of the round, they're actually sitting back and waiting a little bit for the nades to come in and explode before they move to their position. A lot of times people will wait at the bottom of 1. And if they're sitting there and you throw this nade, they're going to die. Very similar lineup. You get to the corner of the cement blocks. It doesn't really matter like a specific area. You want to line it up with this pole on the railing. And instead of going to this first little outjut of cloud, you want to go to the second. So you line it up here, go to the second, and again, you just tap W, jump, throw. As you can see, it lands and explodes immediately, so you're going to get a lot of kills. So the last nade that I use on checkpoint on offense is a B nade. Now this nade is really helpful at the start of rounds because oftentimes people are holding B from blue house or going down ramp towards 16. And this nade can catch both of them depending on where they're at. If you can time it correctly, someone crossing into blue house is going to die. It's happened to me frequently. for this nade, you want to get near the top of the stairs here. You want to pretty much line it up with the edge of this building. And this is a nade requires some timing because essentially you want to throw it as you're hitting the edge of these stairs. As you saw, I took a step up there with my character. It allowed me to get over that tower. Thank you guys for watching my old temple and checkpoint nade guide. Hopefully this provided some newer players some nade spots that will allow them to get a little bit more kills in comp. Maybe, hopefully I provided some of the more experienced players a few nade spots as well. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, make sure to comment down below so I know to make more nade guides for different maps. And please like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later.